Hey, Tim, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you great, Darren.
Great. I appreciate the shirt you're wearing. Do you have a whole closet of those?
Well, that's actually kind of a funny thing. So I used to be head of Del Taco marketing in the early 2000s, and I had everything Del Taco, right? And then I went away for a long time and stuff, and we used to have Del Taco cups in the house and everything, and I came to Del Taco, and I came in February, and then COVID happened right away, and I had to do some interviews like this, and all of a sudden I realized I have nothing with the logo on it.
I of the hundreds of interviews I've done since COVID hit, I don't think more than one other person besides you has worn a logo of their brand. So kudos to you for knowing to do that.
Well, marketing guy.
Exactly. So you're a very impressive guy to me. I've done my research, and it's not just the education, it's not just the role that you have at Del Taco, but you're an Ironman. What was it that provoked you to get into that? Because obviously, not everyone associates people with major fast food enterprises with being an Ironman.
What prompted that? What prompted that lack of forethought? It's kind of a long story, but generally it's a pretty traditional long story for an Ironman. But they all kind of start the same. There was a point in time in your life, things weren't necessarily how you wanted them to be, and you wanted to make a change, and we all went way off the deep end.
Yes, that is definitely a common story.
That is,
and in the best of ways. But
yes, in the best of ways. But the thing for me was really how I operate. Is I think of a big goal, and then I spend a bunch of money against that goal, and then I learn how to do it after that.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
The bottom line is you finish what you start.
That's right. So when I actually decided to go out and try and do, my first was a half Ironman that I attempted to do. And when I did that, I did that exact thing. I signed up, put my money down, and then I hired a coach to actually teach me how to swim, because at age 53, I could not swim across the pool at your house. But I had that end date in mind, right? I had that end date, and I had to hit it, and I figured it out. So it was very, very humbling experience, at least, learning how to swim at 53. There's no joy in that.
Better man than me. I'll say that on that end. And I said to the person that was sending out your press releases, man, I need to speak to somebody from Del Taco, because this crispy set, I don't know exactly what you call it. It's a box that said Del Taco on it, but it had an incredible CD, hat, shirt, and just a great merch spread, which at first you don't realize is from Del Taco. And I saw the brilliance of that. Being an East Coaster, we don't unfortunately have Del Taco the way that they do on the West Coast. But when I go to LA, you see Del Taco everywhere. Yeah. So I see this amazing campaign. And then I do my research and I say, what? You guys worked with Steel Panther and Ricky Rachtman? This is the greatest fast food chain I've ever seen. Simple as that. So how long was it from somebody coming up with the idea of crispy evolving into a boy band member from the heavy metal thing? How long was that in the works for?
So how it actually started was we had hired a new advertising agency, right? And we had these new crispy chicken tacos that we wanted to promote. And that was kind of their first big opportunity, right? And like any advertising agency, they come in with a variety of different ideas of what that might look like. And they probably had, 7, 8 complete different scripts and concepts, right? And then they had a couple of ideas additionally, like, and this is some other funny stuff we would do on social media. Okay? And in that part of it, they came up with the idea of this guy, and his name would be Chris P. And he would troll us and he's like a crispy chicken fanatic, right? And he would troll us all over social media and do stuff, right? And I'm like, wait a minute, that's a really good idea, you know? And I said, crispy, kind of like iced tea, kind of like a rapper name. And that was the original idea. Okay, is that's kind of like a rapper name. That would be kind of funny, and he could be kind of like a Vanilla Ice kind of a guy, you know? Yeah. Kind of. He's okay, but you can tell, like, you know, he doesn't quite all have it together.
Right.
he's a bigger legend in his own mind, right? Kind of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah.
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 Some of the videos with Steel Panther, you really, the extended cut, you see that personality there where he's taking credit for writing the songs and the drummer just rolling his eyes at all that.
Yeah. So that's how it originally happened, right? And then we were coming out of COVID, okay? Mm-hmm. And because at that time, pretty much the entire restaurant industry, no matter who you were, had dramatically decreased sales, okay? And so we were really negatively impacted by budget. And so all we could kind of really afford to do was just really go out and record the music. We couldn't actually like film him. Okay. Mm-hmm. So our first commercials were a rap. And we did this rap, and it was mostly, you know, food photography and graphics and that kind of thing with this music for this rap. And oh my gosh, we had so much feedback about, oh, my kids won't quit singing that song. Right, got stuck in their head, and on and on and on. And everybody loved that music, you know, and so that was the beginning.
That is incredible. You're keeping up a path here of just great stories, Tim. It's like you've done this before. It's almost like that. So, as somebody who does their research, I've already name dropped Steel Panther, where I've interviewed, and Ricky Rackman, and all that. Sometimes chains kind of keep it a secret as to who the actors are. I figured out who Chris P is. It's not that hard to figure out, but is it a secret as to who's actually writing the music, or is it cool to know who the composers are?
It's extra cool. So again, thanks to COVID, actors, musicians, composers, they have no work right now. And they live off of that work, right? So we have had amazing people work on creating these songs. The first one, the rap music, was created. That composition was created by a guy named Jewel Big Green in Cleveland. Great artist, kind of a young, locally, there, famous kind of guy. Really cool music. That was the first one. The second one that you really love, which is our metal band music, Crispy Tiger, okay? That was composed by a gentleman by the name of Lyle Workman.
Oh, wow, Lyle Workman. Yes. Yeah. He wrote a lot of the music or contributed to the movie Walk Hard, the Dewey Cox story.
I love that movie, by the way.
I think he was Elvis Costello's guitar player. Maybe Tom Waits as well. That's a real legit guy. Wow.
Yeah, so he's done a lot. He's basically done a ton of music score work for a lot of the Judd Apatow songs or films, right? But he also toured with Beck and Sting, and kind of the list goes on with him, right? Then, so he gets his buddies to come and play in the studio to actually do the music, right? Mm-hmm. So in the studio with us is the drummer for Ringo Starr's All-Star Band,
Greg Bissonette,
who also used to be the drummer for David Lee Roth.
So Greg Bissonette played drums on that?
And his brother,
Matt Bissonette. Wow.
Right? So his brother was supposed to be on tour as the bassist for Elton John. And they were in there too. So we're getting top end talent here.
As a person who has a David Lee Roth themed podcast, the second that you said, well, the drummer for Ringo, yep, Greg Bissonette. And plus the Bissonette brothers played on a lot of the cues for the TV show Friends. So, I mean, that's a real A-list rhythm section.
It was totally A-list, right? And then Ralph from Steel Panther, he sang the song, right? And then we had our actor lip sync, and he was great to work with. They were fantastic, right? So you had that. So, I mean, just the talent we've had has just been amazing.
Wow. So we saw a rap origin to it. Then it kind of went metal. Now it went boy band.
Yeah.
So
because you can't keep Chris P down. He's an artist. He can sing the phone book, man.
It makes me think that ska might be one of the next 3 iterations there.
I'm trying to figure out, how do I get grunge in there?
I think it's very interesting how you create a character that can just change his look, but the humor is still there even if you don't love that genre of music.
Yeah, that's the idea for sure. Absolutely. Yeah.
So how far in advance does Del Taco come up with his marketing campaigns? Is it a fly by the seat of its pants, we got to do something tomorrow, or are you kind of storyboarded 6 months out?
Well, it is the restaurant industry, so you never know. But as far as the creative, generally we're creating that anywhere from 16 to 12 weeks out. That's kind of when we start, right? Then when we actually get into the actual production of it, we're like, okay, go do that, right? That could be as little as 4 weeks, or it could be as much as about 8 weeks. Tends to be somewhere in between there. And then we push go and go.
Now, you personally, because back to you,
Mm-hmm.
are you a big music guy, or you just kind of know the names?
I'm a big music guy up until the 90s.
Okay.
So my degree is actually in broadcast and cinematic arts. I used to be on the radio in college. We had 2 college stations, and I worked in radio after that, a couple of stations in Michigan. So you knew your music, right? Especially my first station I worked on was a top 40 station. So we got all the artists and just come, tons, right? So yeah, big music guy. But then I had kids, right? And then I have this big window where I just no time to listen and no time to interact, no time to go to concerts.
Any stations that I might know? I know my WRIFs and all that from
the Riff, great station.
Yeah.
Grand Rapids, first station was Lansing, Michigan, which was WVIC 95 FM, top station in the market. Back in the day when you could kind of own the market kind of thing. Then went to Grand Rapids, Michigan, kind of where I grew up, and we had one of the first oldie stations in the 80s, and great station there, WODJ.
Wow, you've got credibility right there. And when you say that it stopped in the 90s, what was your kind of angle as a music fan? Were you an alt rock person, hard rock?
Let's see. I would say, because I love all my children, that's the problem. kind of go with any kind of music. But I would say definitely metal fan, definitely hair metal, absolutely. Definitely love that genre. And then I gotta say, I really enjoy being with an oldie station because it really is sort of that it's the origin of everything we listen to today, whether you like it or not, right? Right. It is, blues is real origin, right? If not going back even further, but everything that we know about rock and roll today, everything that's been influenced really came out of blues at the end of the day.
Yeah, if it's not directly influenced it sampled it at this point in time.
Yeah.
Interesting to see that even hair metal is getting sampled at this point in time. When
yes.
I was talking to Bruce Kulick, who was in Kiss and Grand Funk Railroad and all that, he was explaining how there was a Kanye West sample of an old song he did, and then there was a separate Jay-Z sample. So everything is old is new again. I think that's what we can kind of learn there.
Yep, absolutely.
And so you've been very kind in pulling back the curtain a little bit in a respectful manner. Is there anything else about Del Taco that we should know about what's coming up or who the people behind the company are?
Let's see what's coming up with Del Taco. There'll be, of course, more Chris P. We don't always utilize Chris P in our marketing, but the majority of the time we do. Whenever there's something crispy.
I see what you did there. And then my last question, do you have a favorite item on the Del Taco menu?
I do. It's on there right now, and it's one of our new products. It is it's the longest. I think we won the award for the longest product name ever. The Epic Crispy Chicken Honey Mango Bacon Burrito.
That is a lot of words right there.
And there's a lot of stuff in it. There's some great. I've been having a great time watching the YouTube video reviews on this burrito. They get this burrito, they don't really know what to think about it. They bite into it, and it's like it's nothing they've ever eaten before in their life, and they're like, I think I really like this. Because you have this honey mango sauce, which is kind of like a sweet and sour thing, but it's got this big mango note. Then there's the salty and smokiness to the bacon. And then there's the crispy chicken in there, and there's 3 strips of it, so it's a ton of food. And then on top of that, there's sour cream and French fries, all in that tortilla.
That's a lot. And I can't imagine during Ironman training season that's on the diet, but it can be on the weekend cheat days.
Oh no, it's on the Ironman time because I'm burning, like 4,500 calories a day.
Well said.
I can eat all those burritos I want.
Tim, you are the envy of many. Well, thank you so much for your time. Keep up the greatness.
All right. Thanks, Darren.
Paltrocast.